welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then I'm so happy to meet you. And obviously if you are returning, then thank you so much for always supporting me. It honestly means so much. So today, there's a little bit of a life update, and I thought I'd talk to you all in a bit more depth of what's going on with my health wise. Like last week and the week before, a few weeks ago, I was backwards and forwards to the doctors, and I had to fast for a few hours here and there, and I was having scans done, and I just thought I'd talk about it in a bit more depth. So a lot of you have been asking how I am and helping me well, and I've been, and so on and so on. So instead of recording bits here and there, it's just easier just to basically do a vlog about it. Just thought I'd explain a bit more in depth, if that makes sense. So before I start, really, I just want to say how grateful I am to each and every one of you who message me, regardless, no matter what, asking me how I am and just seeing how I'm doing and how I'm feeling, or I couldn't be more grateful for any of you, who do that. Even if it's, just a quick message to say hello, how you feeling, that means more to me than anything. Honestly does mean so much. And I mean, apart from RJ, it's your messages that help me through my dark days, because I don't know, it's just like, there's hope there, and there's obviously somebody who cares to even ask me how I am, or ask, just to see how I'm feeling, and that means so much to me, and I am really grateful for it. Honestly, thank you, each and every one of you, so much. Thank you all. I'm going to get into it because I haven't got long now. I'll probably have to do a bit now and a bit later. So, for the past few weeks, some of you may already know from my Instagram post or my Slimming World updates, what I do on YouTube, that I've had a few scans where I've needed to fast for so many hours, so that's probably left some of you wondering why. So for quite a long time now, I've been suffering with pain in my chest and my left side, and in my ribs, also the top of my stomach and my back. And it's been off and on, but I've been backwards and forwards to the doctors. I've had a lot of blood tests, and I've had a lot of blood tests, and they've all come back clear, which isn't a bad thing really. Truthfully, it's been on and off for the past 4 to 5 years, which is really worrying. It all started in my left armpit and my left boob. Like, do you know when somebody, or have you ever caught your nipple and you get that, cruciating pain that, it's just an horrible pain? Well, that pain would just come on its own. Sorry, it's a little bit later on now. I got to my, it all started with my armpit, wasn't it? Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to think where I left off. Yeah, I remember the very first time I had it, I literally thought I was like having an heart attack. It lasted no longer than a minute or two, but it felt like somebody was literally like squeezing me, like wrapped their arms around like this bit, and like was squeezing me as tight as they could. I mean, I just couldn't breathe properly. I was sweating and everything. I remember being sick the very first time. Yeah, before the pain had came on, like the very first time, it was not long after my mum's first operation. She came home, she was just chilling in bed, and I'd literally like just sit next to her in bed and just chill with her. Yeah, before like that time, that very first time where it was bad, I'll just get like a few twinges here and there. It was something I could ignore basically, like just like little twinges. But it like gradually got worse each time, if that makes sense. Nothing happened for a long time after, and I like just forgot about it. So I didn't go to the doctors or anything for a long time after. For a few years, the pain I just like mentioned, it kept coming and going, but like there's like really long gaps in between each one. I don't know, I'll call them episodes, because like I could go like 4 or 5 months or even longer without like anything really happening. After a while I did go to the doctors. I think it took like a year or so after. I had blood tests done, which like actually came back normal. I had a few twinges here and there, yeah, and then I became pregnant. I get no pains or aches or anything between like, well, in my pregnancy, apart from like my usual pregnancy stuff. Nothing like chest pains or anything like that. Odd. A few months after I had RJ, when RJ was around 6 months, I started getting twinges again. I went back to the doctors. I had blood tests done. What came back normal again was actually done. I went back to the doctors and saw another doctor. She rang an ambulance, like blue lighted to A&E at the hospital. Yeah, basically. I sat in A&E. No, sorry, I had my observations pretty quick, and then I sat in A&E for a few hours or an hour or so to see the doctor. My mum had taken RJ home, obviously, but then Jay and Anne had him, came to the hospital to me. I saw the doctor after a while, had blood tests taken again, what actually came back normal again. Then I was back in the waiting room. I was meant to have like a special heart scan or whatever it was. Well, a scan on my heart. But I didn't like being away from RJ. He wasn't very old. Yeah, I was away from him for a few hours, and I was like really missing him. So I just wanted to get back home to him. Yeah, I was just in that like mummy stage where I just didn't like to leave him. So I discharged myself after a while. Yeah, at this point the pain was still like pretty much coming and going. So because there's long gaps in between, it was long enough to make me forget about the pain before, if that made sense. Went back to the doctors again, saw a doctor, explained all this pain again. And this was literally like a year after the last time I went to the doctors. So yeah, like a year after, yeah. I explained to the doctor that I didn't want no ambulances and that I couldn't sit around for hours because like I had a baby to look after. Suggested an X-ray or a scan, and the doctor then referred me for a chest X-ray. Which, to be fair, she got me through for that like pretty quick. It was like within the next month I had got my appointment come through for it. Everything looked normal, everything came back normal, but then that X-ray, chest X-ray, was repeated again about, I think it was about 7 or 8 months after the first one, which looked normal, and everything came back normal on that one as well. So it was just like hitting my head up against a brick wall, basically. For a while I just sort of just gave up and then just like put up with the pain for a bit, if that makes sense. Then a few months ago, back in October last year, 2022, I was poorly for quite a few months. These pains in my chest came back. I mean, it was the worstest ever, and it lasted for quite a long time as well. The longest I've ever felt the pain, like. In fact, I actually did a vlog where I was at the hospital because of it. If you've been watching me for quite a while, you would have probably seen my vlog. I think it was called something like, oh, what a day, or I spent the day at the hospital, or something like that. I shall leave it in the I'll link it in the description box down below. And whatever happened that time is all explained in that vlog, I think. So yeah, just go and watch that if you want. But I also had blood tests that time again, that came back normal. I mean, the past few years, all I've done with it is been backwards and forwards to the hospitals. The hospital, the doctors. I've just been like a yo-yo, basically. I just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. I had blood tests after blood tests that was just coming back normal every single time. That just came back clear every time. I kept thinking and saying to myself, well, what's the pain then? What is the pain? I need to get to the bottom of it, if that makes sense. You know, find out what's going on. Pain seems to be getting worse, and then sometimes I even wake up in the night with it, like it wakes me up. Booked another doctor's appointment, and eventually to see a doctor. She did her general checks, checked my blood pressure, you know, pulse, all that sort of thing. Listen to my chest, listen to my heart. Well, the week before that time at the doctor's, I had my general 4-count blood test, which I have like every 6 months because I have a low thyroid, so I have to have regular checks for those, which is every 6 months. Well, 6 to 12 months. And from those blood tests, it showed that I had it showed that my liver functions was low. So I had mentioned about a scan. I just said, I've had X-rays, I've come back clear. I've had blood tests, I've come back whatever it's showing now. But previous to this, it was coming back clear. Can you do a scan or something? And then she was like, well, yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing anyway, because I also want to check your liver. She examined me, like I lied on the doctor's bed, and she like poked around on my stomach area and stuff. A few places was really painful, I won't lie. By the Wednesday, I think I was at the doctor's on the Monday. By the Wednesday, she had got me in for a scan. I think I had to fast that time for like 6 to 8 hours. And obviously like only drink clear water. When I went for that, she did all my scanning and stuff, but then she wanted to do further scanning, so then I went back the Monday after. By the Friday, the doctor had rung me with some more results and said that I had a fatty liver and I had gallstones and something to do with my uterus. I'm not quite sure whether a gallstone is blocking something in my uterus or something down the lines like that. I'm not 100% sure. Because when I had the phone call, I had a lot of people around me, so I couldn't 100% concentrate, if that made sense. I think it was either like a blockage or a spread. I'm not 100% sure. But I need an operation urgently, basically. So it's all a worry. So within, I think it was last week, I saw that same doctor again, and she explained what was going on a bit better, but then also said that there was a delay on the waiting list for my operation, basically, which isn't really good if it urgently needs doing. She also explained that the pain on my left side should be like through the gallstones, and the blockages or whatever it was. I then mentioned about the pain in my back, and she referred me to physio, which was like 2 days after, but I missed it. So, oh God, I should have got back in touch with her. Oh God, I'll have to ring her on Monday and explain that I've missed it, so she refers me. Anyway, yeah, last Monday I had the squeezing chest pains again. This time while my mum was driving, so I couldn't like get up and walk around or anything. I was like stuck, like my mum couldn't stop, so I had to sort of like try and sit up as straight as I could to try and ease them back out, if that makes sense. That wasn't as bad as the last time, but that lasted for around 5 minutes. That night I did something I would never ever usually do. I had googled my symptoms. I just had enough. Like, I've had enough of the pain and not getting anywhere and just feeling stuck. And forwards to the doctors and nowhere. And yeah, even though they found gallstones, I know that's the reason I'm getting some of the pain, but there's a bit more to it, if that makes sense. The chest squeezing pains, and I know they found a fatty liver. I know I have a fatty liver. The doctor explained that the fatty liver shouldn't cause any type of pain, only if it ever like gets infected or anything then. But there's a fat chance that that could happen, if that makes sense. I say if that makes sense a lot, don't I? Anyway, back to Googling my symptoms. The first thing that came up was angina. Some of the symptoms did match, I won't lie. But the one that stood out to me was a mess. It was like the symptoms described my symptoms down to an absolute T. Like when MS attacks, is something called MS-UG. MS-UG. And when I read that, it just sort of subscribed like what I've been going through past like couple of years. After Mondays I felt like really tired and achy after as well, and really bad headache. It's like when the pain comes on I have to walk around like I feel more comfortable if I'm walking around. Does that make sense? It's like really, really hard to explain. My mum was driving on Monday, so I felt stuck. I needed to sit up as straight as I could. It was horrible. It really was. I'm just a little confused now. What do I do next? Do I wait for the operation I urgently need, or do I go back to the doctors and explain what I googled, what I think, see what she thinks? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I'll keep you informed anyway. But that's all I have to update you on at the minute. That's like everything what's been going on over the past few years. I don't know what's scary, like, is it scary that it keeps coming and going? Is it? I don't know. Anyway, I think that's all I need to say at the minute, so I'm going to leave it there. As soon as I get any more updates, I'll keep you, up to date and whatnot. Thank you all so much who's messaged me, asking me how I am, and, honestly, it does really mean a lot, as I said earlier on. Yeah, I really, really do appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you all so much. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next one. Love you all so much. Bye.